Today we see that this story doesn't just start at verse 15, but it says, and when they had finished breakfast. A whole nother sermon is about the great catch or the barbecue on the beach. But now it's time to get down to business. It is time now that some commentators and some people say that this is the restoration of Peter, because he had denied Jesus 3 times that he ever even knew. He cursed ever even knowing or being associated with God. How many know that because you only have a like, you will deny that you even know Jesus? You know, see, you have to let that sink in a little bit. A lot of times we make decisions and things that come out of our mouth is based on our level of love or like. Denial is something that's hurting and something that none of us would like to be denied. How many of us have actually applied for school or for a loan or for something, and then you received a letter, credit denied, admission denied, access denied? How does that actually make you feel when you receive rejection? But we are in the post-resurrection Sundays, and we know that Jesus now has appeared to these disciples 3 times, but that wasn't the only time that he appeared to his disciples after resurrection, because he kept coming and coming, meeting us where we needed him to meet us. Now today we have to do a heart test. How many are willing to go with me to do a true heart test? Yeah, there's not that many. I understand. It could be because you only like me. Well, see, this question is not just for Peter, son of Jonas. This is not just for the other disciples that were there, with the exception of Thomas, because we know that all of us have to ask this question sometime. And when Jesus asks you this question, then you need to really pay close attention. We have to pay close attention because God has commissioned us. But before we get into commissioning, and commissioning means that God has commanded and has given us a charge. He has given us some authority to do something. He has given us direction, and the authority has been granted, not denied, even though we deny him. But today we want to take a look take a look at the Greek words that we have lumped into one word called love. Because the Bible is telling us that he says, on hote, Aristo, Jesus, Legos, Simon, Petros, unas, agape me. Then he says, pleion, tontun, which means he's saying, do you, Simon Peter, love me more than these? Sometimes there are these that get in the way of truly loving him. All right, let's can we just go a little bit deeper? Because agape means that I love you more than a social sense, more than just morality. I love you, and because I'm God, I loved you, which means I've done it perfectly. See, a lot of times we don't understand this kind of love. See, God loves for us in terms of humankind is not like how we as Christians love one another. God's response and his responding and his love is love because he does it perfect. He does it from the beginning. He does it now. And it is still the same in eternity because in eternity there is no time. But now we have this demonstration that you see before us, this unselfish love that God has for us, his people. His love has no sexual implications involved with it. It's more than a brotherly love. See, Peter responds not in agape, but he responds in phileo. And philios means, you're my friend. I have a fondness as a brother towards you. But see, when I have brotherly love, that love comes with conditions. What conditions have you put on how you are going to love and serve God? Oh, I know I'm preaching way better than you're responding, but we have to ask ourselves the question as to what is the condition? Is it because when I feel good, I'm going to come and worship you? Can I like you enough to serve as a deacon? Can I like you enough to serve as a deaconess? Can I like you enough to serve as a trustee? Can I like you enough? But see, I have a condition. There's some limitations as to how far I'm going to let this love go. Now, see, when we who love looking at the commentators say, well, philios and agape, it means love, and that's why we read it, and it says that Peter answered the question, and he said love, but no, because they didn't use the same word in the Greek, which means that there's a difference that we need to pay close attention to as to how do we like/love Jesus when he comes to us and asks us the question because we went back to business as usual. See, you can go back to what you used to do when you like somebody because you haven't committed yourself to the love that has no limits. See, when we have conditions on how we're going to love, we set boundaries and we say, you know what, I'm only going to do this, but then I only like you, so I'll come maybe 2 Sundays a month. Maybe 3. You're really asking a lot for me to be here 100%. I don't know if I can give that. See, that's what conditions are. Conditions are things that we put in place because we are selfish. But was God selfish? Peter, do you truly agape me more than these? See, he didn't just ask, do you love me? He says, more than these. See, we have to go into the scripture and we have to, park here for a minute. Do you mind if I park here for a minute? Because what are these? Some might assume, because these is not specific in regards to what it is. These, Peter could have been thinking in his mind, do I love you more than these who have walked with us for 3 years? But I like to go a little bit deeper. Could these be because I was afraid and I was scared and I cursed the fact that I ever even knew you? Could these be the question that Jesus is asking? Could these be priorities? High priorities that we put before as a condition, because Peter answers truly what is in his heart. But God is asking us for more than because of what he has given. What are these? Well, I have to, work, and I have to, pay the bills. And then God is saying, are you really the one that's really providing for yourself? Could that be the these? Well, I have a paper that I have to write, and there's certain things that I have to prepare for because I'm going to school. Could these be the things that get in the way? And then God says, well, didn't I give you the mind to be able to go to school and to be able to prepare those papers? Could these be the things that get in the way? Or maybe the fees are the debts and the credit cards that I misused when I didn't realize that the money wasn't mine, but it was really yours, because it says the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. Is that the these? I'm getting old. And my back sometimes doesn't want to cooperate. But then when I yield to your power and not to my power, then I can actually move, even though my back was stiff this morning. But now I can lift my leg. I can raise my hand. I can lift my voice. I can jump. Why? Because I'm not letting these pains and heartaches and tribulations get in the way, because you asked me a question, God, that are you loving me unconditionally more than these? What are the these? That's what God is asking us. Oh, I'm getting ready to step on somebody's toes right now. I just got a download. Family. Well, my family is going through. And because I got to spend some time with them, I got to put these before you. Jesus said in the Old Testament that he also said in the New Testament that the dead bury the dead. A man that puts his hand to the plow and then looks back is not worthy of the commission. Oh, I know I was getting no amens on that one. Because our priorities are sometimes the these that have gotten it mixed up when God didn't ask you, do you like me? Oh, I know that that's something that we got to think about. There's some Greeks in the house. When you stepped online, you had to change every priority. because you had to answer to a big brother or sister. And your priorities. Or maybe you're a Mason or an Eastern Star. And these demand, they demand certain loyalties. They demand certain obligations. But when it comes to God, well, I just like you. See, those are the things that we that want to grow closer to God have to examine in terms of true heart tests. All right, here's another of these. How is your giving? Oh, the preacher's getting ready to talk about money. That's right, I'm going to talk about money because that's something that's in the heart. How many of you give a 20% tip when you go out to dinner? Don't show me your hands. Now, how many of you give a 20% offering? I'm turning my head to the table because I don't want to see somebody who might raise their hand. Because what you give is not coming to me, is not just for the church, but it is for God's kingdom. See, when we actually have our priorities straight in the right place, then we know what is demanded of the king and not the world. But then you didn't have to ask yourselves, do I agape or do I just philios? See, Peter is answering the Lord truthfully. And he's telling God that you know, because I know you, Lord, knows everything. But yet you're asking me this question. Don't you know that God is not looking for the answer? He's trying to get you to understand yourself and what your answer is based on the question that he already knows. Do you love me? Or do you just like me? Because after he answers, he says, you know, Lord, that I like you. And then God says, and tend to my lamb. See, I need for you to be looking out for something other than yourself if you proclaim to even like me. Because I'm giving you a command and a commission that there's something that is required of you more than what you are giving me, more than what I'm seeing, and I need for you to answer and examine and look into your heart and see whether or not what you give in your money, what you give in your time, what you give in your talents, what you give and how you serve, is it commensurate? Does it meet your level of love? Then he says, Simon, son of Jonah, the second time, do you agape me? And now I'm quite sure Peter's perplexed. I already answered this question, but did you? Did you, Peter, answer the question of unconditioned? Because you put a condition in how you responded. How is our response and how is our service to God an answer with conditions? Because of these. See, you may not even thought about these. You may have been thinking about, yeah, well, I'm the leader and I have these due. but I don't have to do, because that's my condition. I don't need to lead by example. All I want to do is come up with the idea, and you, whatever these are, you do it. Because the condition is I ain't going to do it. Then feed my lamb. Every time he answers, he says, there's work to do. But are you willing to do the work? Are you still going to give me conditions? See, God is looking for those that's not going to let their feelings. See, I didn't get into that, but now we're going to go even deeper. See, these can be our emotions and our feelings. You know, my feelings are on my sleeve. If you offend me, I'm going to show you how much by what I won't do, even if I don't say it. But in my actions, I'm telling you loud and clear my conditions. See, our emotions can get us in a heap of trouble. You know, I really don't feel like it today. Can you imagine if church, if the pastor got up behind the sacred desk after we had wonderful worship, and then I come up and I say, I don't feel like it today. Let's give the benediction and let's go. What would you do? Would you just leave, or would you think I've lost my mind? But it's okay when you guys are acting in your feelings. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, I know that one hit somewhere right now. I'm angry right now. And I think I want to sit in this anger for a little bit. So let me just cross my legs, cross my arms, because I'm going to sit, because I'm angry. I didn't like what you said last Sunday. You stepped on my toes and you came into my camp. So now these are going to be what I show you. Yeah, I may have a smile on my face, but I'm angry. I'm going to passively be aggressive and not give in my service because I'm angry. Or maybe you're sad or tired. Or maybe you're mourning. I need to mourn, and I need to be by myself. But then the question is that the these when God says, blessed are they that mourn, and blessed are those that come into the house of mourning? That means you don't stay at home, you come to worship. Oh, I know this is not what you was looking for. More than these. My priorities are my conditions. Those are my these that I can't really answer the question that you ask, God, because I only see you as a friend. I only see you as a brother. I can't give you what I don't have. And God says, I know. That's why I love you unconditionally, because that's who I am. We need to sometime wrestle with this question that Jesus asked us. He asks us in ministry. He asks us in our offerings. He asks us in our time and talents. He asks us, do you love me? Then why don't I see evidence? Because I'm not interested in your lip service. See, that's what these are. See, I can say with my mouth, Peter, that I like you, but I can't demonstrate that I love you because I'm not just there yet. But you want to know what the good news is? Even though he's not there, God still gave him a job to do. How many of you know that even if you only associate yourself as a friend of God, he still has a job for you to do in his kingdom? He did not die and stretch out himself and be ridiculed, spit upon, and denied, betrayed, because he liked us. But oh God, over 2,000 years ago, he demonstrated that he loves us without conditions, so that I can go to the cross. I can hang because I love you. I can die because I love you. But then I have to get back up. I have to resurrect so that I can do what God has called me to do, so that I can commission those that he told me to commission. I walk with you. I talk with you. I had breakfast with you. I broke bread with you. Now I need you to get to work. Do you love me? Or do you just like me? Well, even if you just like me, it's still time to roll up your sleeves and tend, feed, and do what God has called us to do. Do you love me?